I mean, the audition process as a child is just something that I will never forget. It's like 50 times more ruthless than the audition process as an adult. It's so ruthless. It's obscene.
Is there a heartbreak that you had that was the hardest to get over, but maybe looking back on it now really made you?
Oh my goodness. The one that I remember so well is...
Hi babes, how are we doing? Welcome to another edition of Josh Smith's Great Chat Show, the podcast all about the chats that matter. And there are going to be some chats that are mattering today because we are going to be joined by one of the most exciting British talents right now. It's Asha Banks. You'll know her as the star of the Fault franchise, and she's also releasing bop after bop, in my personal opinion. And so in today's chat, we're going to get into how she's dealt with her meteoric rise over the last 18 months. We're also going to talk about the great chat she's had with her co-star Matthew Broome, which I know some of you are going to be so excited about because we're obsessed with the pair of them, and so much more. So get ready for a great chat. Asha, babes, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's so fab to have you here.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're going to be a chatty Cathy today.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad that you've got that impression.
So, we love a great chat can today.
I'm one of those people that, like, if I have any form of excitement or nerves or anything, I'm just like, blab, blab,
blah,
blab.
blah, 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 blah. Even
I think
if
I'm
you don't
happy.
even know what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I just start and then just, like, something comes out. Yeah, I just go.
Off she pops.
Off she pops.
Well, we always pop off with one question.
Yes.
On this show. And that is, what do you want to chat about today, babe? What's on your mind?
Okay, well, I feel like there's so many ways that one could take this, and I'm going to take the childish route.
Oh, stunning.
I also saw that you love dogs. And I was looking at my dog this morning, and I have this weird thing that happens maybe every like few weeks, where I've got a little like Jack Russell Chihuahua. She's like the cutest but the wonkiest looking dog you've ever seen.
Cute.
She's adorable.
What's her name?
She's called Violet.
Oh my God, stunning.
Sweet
Love
girl.
an old school name for a dog.
It stems from a very narcissistic place because I played Violet Beauregard in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when I was like 12, and then got the dog and I was like, she's Violet. She must be. But I was looking at her, and I have this weird thing where every now and again I'm just like, I can't fathom that you exist and are like sat in my house.
Cute.
But I'm like, us humans just like pottering around, doing everything, and here she is, like just looking at me. And she's a little different creature that just like sleeps in bed and watches Love Island with me and my mum at 9 p.m. every week.
Does she have strong opinions about Love Island?
I think she probably does. But it just baffles me. I'm like, you just exist and just exist in this house, and you just live such a sweet little life, and also has no idea what's happening with anybody else. I'm like, I did my biggest like music show a few months ago, and I remember coming home and being overwhelmed with the fact that she has no idea. But I don't know why that concept just baffles me.
I love that, because I always have that moment with my dog where I just think, you are so lucky. What have you got to moan about, babe? You're a freeloader in this house. You do
Pay
not
some rent and then talk to
contribute
me.
in any way. Pay some rent and then talk to me. Get that on her t-shirt. Well, since you spoke about Violet and playing her in Charlie and Chocolate Factory,
Yes.
like that is a bizarre way that your career started, right? On the West End.
I know.
And it must have been such a strange experience. I was thinking about this when I was doing the research. I was like, wow, you're so young to be A, working, and then B, in such an adult world, and in such a ruthless world as well.
For sure.
How did you manage the ruthlessness of it all?
I find it really kind of strange thinking about just all of it, just being, like you say, like working from 7 or whatever, because I literally cannot remember before. Like my earliest memories are like going up to London with my mum on the train and going to the theatre. I feel very lucky that I had such a wonderful experience in theatre as a child, because it can be so ruthless. And there were definitely like, I mean, the audition process as a child is just something that I will never forget. It's like 50 times more ruthless than the audition process as an adult.
Is it?
Yeah, because you do it all together. Like they call in a gazillion kids who all travel up to London or from wherever with their parents usually. Everybody's in the same waiting room, and then they take everybody into the room at the same time. And then everybody sings their song in front of each other, do their monologue or whatever it is that the audition process is. And then often, like 9 times out of 10, kids then talk to themselves in the room, the team have a little chat to each other, and then literally cut people in front of each other and say, not you, not you, not you, not you. like, we're so sorry. And then they leave the room and like have to go back to their parents, like crying and like distraught. And then there's the next people, and then you might do some more or do a dance round, and then the same thing again. Like people get cut. It's like, it's so ruthless. It's obscene.
Wow.
But I mean, I was just so in love with it. Like it's part of the reason why I feel so lucky that I got any jobs as a kid, because it's so hard to get jobs. And there's so many amazing, talented kids. I mean, especially girls, like the percentage of like boys to girls in child theatre, I mean, just from my opinion is massively different. I mean, my brother did it for a while and he was always with, 10 to my 100, like counterparts. It was ruthless, but I do think that it very much instilled like a resilience in me that I'm grateful for, and I feel like is just such a kind of key part of my personality now, and I owe a lot of it to theatre.
Do you think it's helped you deal with rejection as an adult?
Yeah, I think so. I think because nothing is worse than having it when you're a kid, because it's like you're a child, like
yes.
It's like it's almost 10 times worse, but then you just learn to deal with it. I'm 22, but I've been working since I was 7, so I've sort of had my fair dose of rejection and hard auditions and like heartbreaks in terms of like jobs, all of that stuff. So I think that I'm just sort of used to it, to be honest.
Is there a heartbreak that you had that was the hardest to get over, but maybe looking back on it now really made you?
Oh my goodness. The one that I remember so well is Matilda. Like that was the
that's
child
like the pinnacle
show.
for a
yeah,
child
oh
actor,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Like the Matildas were celebs. Like you were a celeb in the child round. And I remember like doing this whole crazy audition process. I remember going and doing these Matilda auditions, and like I was in like for the ensemble and did a dance round, and dance was not my thing as a kid. Like I was like, I can do a song and I'll give you a little scene, but dance, I was like stressed, sweating. And I did a dance round and got cut or whatever. And then my mum got a phone call that night saying like, we want Asha to come in like for Matilda, like to just join like the final round. And I was like, what? Like 8-year-old me is like, what?
Screaming.
I have to learn like the monologue and like the Russian bit and all the stuff. I remember I like took a sneaky day off from school because my mum was like, well, like I had to learn it. I had like 2 days to learn like this whole monologue, and like went in for the Matilda audition, and like it's just so surreal with like 5 other girls again and like the whole team, and it was a full workshop day and it was amazing. But I mean, ultimately it ends in the fact that I didn't get the job, which was just, sad because you just dream about it, like especially as a kid. I think kids are such big dreamers, which is amazing and something that I still definitely like hold on to and kind of live by, like that period of time in which you're auditioning for something, like you can't help your mind kind of wander and imagine it. And obviously me as an 8-year-old is like, oh my goodness me, imagine if I was Matilda, like that would be crazy. But in hindsight, like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I met some amazing people even through the audition process of that job that I like then worked with at different times, and I was so much luckier than so many other kids at that age. Like it was, everything else was amazing, and that was one little thing. But I think that's actually probably more heartbreaking for my mum, because like as a parent, she had to deliver the news and she had to tell me like that I didn't get the
savage.
job, which is savage. Yeah.
Whereas now as an adult, you just have to deal with that on your own. They
Yeah.
just tell you directly.
Like, okay.
You got it.
And then I'm like, Mum!
I didn't get it. She's like, babe, it's
She's like, babe, she's like, thank God I don't have to do that anymore. Oh my God, the most stressful parenting thing ever.
Well, one big yes you've got that has really changed your life is the Fault franchise.
Hell yeah.
I mean, babe, that has been an astronomical rise to fame for you, hasn't it? Take us back to when the role first found you. Where were you at in life when it first found you?
I had just finished filming A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which was
another great show, which we will be chatting about.
Oh my goodness, I love it so much. But I had just finished filming that, and that was my first sort of like, big job. Like I was playing a supporting lead, and I'd just finished filming that. I was also doing the workshop for Burlesque, the musical, and I was playing Nikki, who is like the club star girl played by Kristen Bell in the movie.
What a role, babe.
What a
role.
What a queen. And I don't know how the hell I booked that workshop, but it was like 4 weeks of like improv dancing, like full set, Laduca boots, which were boots, dancey boots that I had no idea what they were before I got there. I was like, sure.
Google those at home, guys.
Yeah, Google Laducas. So expensive. Oh my God. Anyway, I was doing that and I was like, this is this is crazy. This is like really pushing me outside my comfort zone. But I was in the middle of the workshop and I got a self-tape for My Fault London for Noah. And I remember just reading the scenes and immediately being like, I love this girl. She has like a bite and like a wit and just like confidence. And the scene that I had to read was with Nick, the other character, and they were in like a car having an argument, and I was just like, you're so fierce. She's just amazing. And like, I think it's nice sometimes as an actor when you read a script and you think, that's what I would have said. Like, good for you. Like, she just said, like, she just had the best comeback, and that's what I hoped I would have said in that moment. Yeah, and I did the self-tape and then got a recall and did like a recall on Zoom at lunchtime in Burlesque. So I was like sweaty slick back ponytail and like vest, and like I was like,
do you have the boots on?
The boots are off under the table off. The table. But they're on the side. I think I might have even shown them. I think I might have said to the casting director, like, look at these. Like, what the hell?
I can do it all.
Yeah, you wanted to Burlesque.
You want depth?
You want But
I've also got some nipple tassels out the back.
Yeah,
babe?
whatever you want. Like, truly, I couldn't be more out of my comfort zone anyway. Yeah. So try me. Racing driver? Sure, I'll do it.
I don't even have to go into fifth gear. But
no,
I
fine. Drive an automatic. There, I said it.
Can you not drive they call it a stick, don't they? Stick.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Babe, I can drive a stick.
You can?
But also my driving skills are the worst. Like, my boyfriend's always like, you are so brake heavy. And I was like, I'd rather be brake heavy than brake
I call it
less.
safe.
I call it
safe.
Yeah.
But no, I did the audition, and then I remember getting the email where it said that there were directors attached, because there weren't even directors attached for the first 2 rounds. And I immediately searched on Instagram, searched on Safari, and saw Danny and Charlotte, our wonderful directors, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sold, I'm in. They're like young, the coolest people you've ever seen, women, like a duo. I was just so excited, and I met them and just immediately fell in love with them. And they 100% was what really swung it for me. I just then became feral.
We need more female directors
100%
out there.
100%.
Why do you think it makes such a difference?
I mean, I've been very lucky in the jobs that I've done. Like, both Good Girls and My Fault are very female heavy creative teams, which is rare and has just had the biggest impact on me, especially with My Fault. Like, it's a female story, and it's Noah's story, and especially one I think that it has a lot of intimacy. It's sexy. It's very much like female gaze. And I think that having female directors just made the biggest impact. Young girls that I felt so comfortable with, that are also like so talented and new as well. So young. This was their debut feature. They had just this like hunger, I think, that really just impacted everybody and carried through the whole film. But especially for this film, I think it had to be a female director, and I'm so glad that it was them. Even them being a duo just made a big difference. It was like, I always say, the 3 of us were like 3 Noah brains, like different sides of her character coming together to like create this story.
It's so important to have that, especially when you're dealing with so many intimacy scenes
100%.
as well. And there's a lot of talk at the moment about intimacy coordinators, and Gwyneth Paltrow said she found it stifling. Why do you think, for you as a young actress, it's important to have intimacy coordinators?
I mean, I really feel it's important. I had Adelaide Waldrop, who is just the most amazing intimacy coordinator, and she's just amazing, and she always explains it in such a wonderful way of, obviously there's a million jobs for an intimacy coordinator, but one of her opinions is that they're just able to say what other people don't want to say. She's able to just voice everything out. She's able to say the things that are awkward, say the things that are uncomfortable, so that nobody else has to. And it's just as much about making the actors feel comfortable as it is making the crew feel comfortable, making everybody just aware, making like just speaking the things. I think it is so important. It means that everybody's able to just know what's happening and feel like nothing's going to crop up that's unexpected. But in the same breath, like, Adelaide is a creative. She's in the conversations with myself and Matt and Danny and Charlotte, our directors, having creative input, and she's mapping out their sort of intimate, their just physical language with each other, and how their proximity and how close they get to each other at various points, and their kind of physical selves. And without her, this movie would be completely different. She brings such a depth to the intimacy scenes and just cares about it so much. Her sole job is to care about those scenes and make them as impactful as they possibly can be, whilst dealing with myself and Matt's comfortability and how we feel. And it means that we're able to give ideas. It means that we're able to talk freely because we're so comfortable with each other, myself and Matt, because of Adelaide, because of the directors. We're all able to talk about what the scene should be and have a freedom in that and say, I think that Noah would do this, or like, I think that it would be cool if they showed this side of XYZ, or where they are in their relationship at the moment means that, you know, the intimacy might lean more this way or more that way. And it just creates room actually for more freedom, I think, having an intimacy coordinator.
It's so important. It also gives you a faith in your own voice as well, right?
100%, yeah.
Is there a time you've been really proud of advocating for yourself?
To be honest, I think that being an artist and like stepping into music has been a lot of that for me. You have to be so self-sufficient as an artist, and you have to, I always say that like as an actor, you're sort of conditioned to kind of belittle yourself and, you know, feel like you're, you know, at the feet of other people and sort of waiting to be booked on a job and like not expecting too much and sort of and taking a step back and kind of allowing other people to take the wheel, which is of course true. But as an artist, you have to step into the room and say, I am me, and I am like good enough to do this. And you have to have such self-belief. It's like as an actor, you're sort of told to like pretend you don't have self-belief. And as an artist, you have to go into the room and say, I am the person for the job. Like I am, because you have to convince everybody it's on you, rather than when you're, you know, an actor playing a character. It's about so many other things, which of course it is with music, but you are the front man of the band when you're a musician.
And there's no one else you can rely on, really.
No, exactly.
It's like you, yourself and I.
Me, myself and I. But what I love about both acting and music is that it's so individual at the same time as being such a like group and like family thing. Both with acting, you have a whole crew and team and other actors, and with music, it's the same thing. You have your band, you have the people that you write with. But yeah, it's so much about yourself. It's just everything is down to you and making it happen and believing in yourself and posting those videos and like...
Because there's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
I find that whenever I meet a female artist today, there is a lot of pressure to be like, you've got to put out the TikToks like 2 times a day. You've got to be doing this. You've got to be doing that. And I actually saw something where Steven Sanchez posted something recently. He's like, I can't keep doing this relentless cycle of promo. Yeah. Because it has to come from you now, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. It does entirely. It's like changed. It's changed massively. I mean, I often feel very lucky that I've grown up kind of just for this job. I feel lucky that I've sort of grown up with social media, because it means that it means that I'm used to it. It's like there's probably some artists that like have to wrap their heads around it a bit more, whereas I know how social media works a bit more. I'm probably would be posting TikToks anyway, but it is hard. It's so, like you say, it's so much on you. You just sort of create your own fate. I have a foot thing anyway, where I think when I'm not kind of working, I feel kind of guilty, and like if I'm sat at home like not doing anything, I'm like, oh, what am I not doing? I'm like, why do I feel a bit sick? And then I'm like, oh, it's because I could be doing XYZ. And I think with like posting on social media, it's so that, because it's like, what if the video that I didn't just post got how many views and like introduced loads of people to me and my music? Of course it's not about that, but in order for your music to be heard, in order to connect with people, which is my main goal, people have to see you.
We're just going to pause the chat right there, babe, to remind you to subscribe or follow Josh Smith's Great Chat Show wherever you're watching or listening right now, because there are so many more great chats than this that you are missing out on, and we got more coming your way. Now back to Asha Banks. It's also so intense because you've done this in such a short space of time, really. It's been about 18 months since you started in the Fault franchise, and then you end up as a musician going from playing like tiny venues. I think you were playing in like a treehouse for like 40 people about a year ago, and now you're playing Hyde Park and like huge venues. How have you looked after your mental well-being in that time to be able to get up there, show your face, keep pushing?
I mean, truly, it's the people around me. Like, I still live at home. I live with my family. My parents are just amazing and like really look after me, and they just really keep me on the ground. And my friends, like, I truly feel so lucky about the people around me, and I think that they are a huge group of people to just thank for everything. I think and my dog, like going home after filming or like doing a show and just sitting at home and watching TV with my mum and having a chat. And like, I'm so close with my family. It really, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have them. It would be 100% more intense.
Yeah. And you do have to go home after some quite intense scenes as well. And especially, we do need to talk about the ending. Plot spoiler, guys.
Spoilers.
If you haven't seen the ending of the second movie, please skip or pause.
Please skip or pause. Go watch it first.
Because, wow. Like, the ending is...
Sips tea.
It's quite an extreme ending, I would say. And you know what? There's been a lot of debate about whether this movie romanticizes toxic relationships. And then we see at the end of the second movie this very intense outburst of male violence. Where do you stand on that debate?
It's so hard. It's like there's the line of escapism and everything being pushed to extremes, which of course our movie exists in that world. But also, like you say, romanticizing toxicity. Their relationship is incredibly toxic. It's one that I would not be able to handle.
Oh, babe, absolutely not. Drop me out.
Drop me out. I'm like the least confrontational person in the whole world. Anything goes south and I'm like, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. So in some ways I'm like, wow, they are persistent. You know, the love carries through. But of course, it's like, I think Matt and I spoke about it a lot, and with the directors, it's like, how do we sort of portray this very, very heightened relationship and make it feel real and realistic and try and understand them and, you know, their actions, and especially with Nick and with Noah and how their experiences tie into one another. And ultimately, they're both very flawed people. They've both been through a lot, and their kind of past experiences are always having impact on them, but they are trying. And I think that's what I'm holding on to. They're very much in a toxic relationship, but they are really trying. And we have a third film.
But it's reality.
Yeah,
it is.
A
lot of people are in toxic relationships. I've been in one.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah,
so
it does.
As much as people can say it's romanticizing it, this happens.
Yeah, it's a reflection at
all
the same
the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think that it sparking debate is probably a good thing. Like, we were excited about this movie because of that. We were excited to see how people felt, and especially when you're so involved in it, it's hard. Like, I found it hard towards the end of filming to, like, when I would think about how other people would perceive the film and their opinions and whose fault or whatever, it became quite hard because you're so engulfed in it that I began to not see realistic and what the truth was, because I'm so in Noah mode. So it's really interesting, like, seeing how people feel and it's sparking the debate because of, of course, they're going through it.
Yeah. And it comes back to the amazing chemistry you have with Matt as well, because that is the core of the whole franchise. And you two have built this amazing chemistry together. And this show is all about the chats that matter. So you must have had so many incredible, great chats with him along the way. What's a great chat you've had with Matt that's really stuck with you?
Matt and I have so many great chats. I mean, oh my God, we just spend so much time together on set. Like, we've had every single chat that could possibly happen in the whole universe. And I think so much of it being because we are very, like, exactly in the same boat. We both had sort of done another project before this film, but this was both of our first, like, leading roles in a film, and experiencing it at the exact same time together. Like, thank God. I'm so, so grateful that I got to do it with somebody like Matt. And just with somebody else, in, like, full stop. Like, it's taken half of the load off. One of our chats that I remember a lot is we met at the chemistry read, and then we had, like, a rehearsal together with the directors, or, like, maybe 2 days of rehearsals, but it was very much, like, with them. We were in Nick Noah minds. And then shortly after, we were flying to Tenerife because we shot the first 2 weeks of the first movie in Tenerife, which is just, like, an absolute dream.
Great, get the tan on, babe.
Why not? Yeah, that was, and the fact that for this movie it was literally like hair and makeup are like, put sun cream on, go lie in the sun, get a nice golden tan. I was like, sure. But our plane ride to Tenerife was like 5 hours or something, and we were, like, booked in different seats away from each other, and Matt managed to, like, sweet talk this wonderful lady into swapping with him so that we could sit together. And then this is a side story, she ended up sitting with this other lady, and they became, like, best mates. And then at the end of the flight, they came up to us like, we're gonna go hang out in Tenerife now. And we were like, oh my God, we just created a friendship. What the hell? But Matt and I just spent, like, 5 hours just talking about everything. It was probably our first time to actually, like, get to know each other rather than, like, Nick and Noah. And like just 5 hours of just talking about everything, about this experience. Sort of like the header that I would give the conversation is like, what are we in for? It was just like it feels very like poignant now thinking about that conversation, because that was very much at the beginning of everything. And yeah, very grateful for his friendship and the fact that we can do it together.
And you've also been able to lean on Emma Myers on this journey for you, who is your co-star in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And of course, you'll all know her from starring in Wednesday as well on Netflix.
Oh, my queen.
How has that relationship really helped you deal with all the change you've been going through?
So much. She is one of the strongest people I have ever met in my life. She's the most like calm, wise, just like grounded person ever. You would never ever believe that she's had the success that she's had just because of how humble she is. But she really like has been so important to me in so many ways. We did Good Girls together at, you know, an important point in her career as well. It was her first kind of big job after Wednesday, her leading this well-loved book series, playing a British girl. I mean, she kind of came over and suddenly was living in Bristol with a load of Brits, and she was like, wait, what the hell's going on? And we were like, Emma, the pub. And she was like, okay.
What's pop culture?
Yeah, she was like, what the hell? But I just love her.
Now she's like ordering the pints.
Oh my God. But I just love her. She really set precedent for me of how to kind of lead a set. Like, I felt very lucky going straight from Good Girls to My Fault, because I was like basically pretending to be Emma Myers when I stepped onto the set of My Fault, because I was like, this is how she did it, and she did it so well, and just was with such grace and strength, and always with a smile on her face. But she was very much able to kind of hold my hand and be like I've got you. Just that kind of unspoken thing almost of she's been through it all. And she's very wise and just is very helpful, and has managed to maintain such a balance of her life and career, which I just really admire.
Because you've also had to deal with, like, it's incredible to get the success, but you also have to deal with the online nature of it too.
Oh, yes.
Which is wild, and especially around shipping culture, which is when, you know, people try to ship co-stars together.
Yeah.
And you've definitely experienced that through this process. How damaging or difficult do you think that shipping culture is?
I mean, I think it can be, definitely can be. I feel very lucky that Matt and I kind of have a friendship that exceeds it all, but that's not always the case. You know, it can be very damaging. I think that it's shipping characters is a completely different thing, not real people. That's the aim of the game. Like you said before, the films are so much of it is based on mine and Matt's chemistry that it would be a bad thing if our characters weren't being shipped and people weren't like kind of passionate about it. And on one hand, it's so exciting that they are so passionate about it, and that they see that and they feel that and they feel our connection from the film. But of course it bleeds into Matt and Asha in real life, which is a different thing altogether. And truly, I just feel lucky that Matt and I can sort of laugh about it and you know, look at everything online and kind of get through it and just it not affect our relationship, which is great. But yeah, different people, like real life people and characters are just a different thing. Yeah. And in some ways I get it. Like, I watch a TV show and you get so invested, and that's the point. You get so invested, you love the characters. I'm immediately like, I wonder if all these guys are friends, like, and check on Instagrams and see if they're hanging out. But it definitely can cross over into damaging very quickly. It's like, these are real people and they have to get up and go to work and give so much of themselves to each other and to the audiences. It can be very intense.
Yeah. Well, Asha, we're going to open up the group chat. Speaking of fandoms,
let's do it
in a second. But before we do that, I want to finish by asking this question, because I think your characters really defy stereotype.
Yes.
And I think you defy stereotype too. You're like, do you know what? I'm going to be an amazing actress and I'm going to be an amazing musician at the same time. Hold me back. I'm just going to be in whatever lane I want to be in at any point. But as a woman, what question do you wish we would put in the bin as a society?
Only because I feel like I just get asked it a lot, is that thing of picking a lane and like, yeah, but which one? And yeah, it's like, it's frustrating. And you just gave, I mean, thank you so much, the kindest like intro ever. But I find a lot of my strength in being able to do both and being able to kind of not limit myself creatively. I think that I just clearly have a need to create and do that, and I would be doing myself a disservice trying to pick a lane. So it's frustrating when other people try and do that for me. It's like, why do you care?
Yeah.
Like,
why are you
what-
asking me to pick a lane?
Yeah, why? Easier
Yeah.
for you? I don't know.
That's what it is. It makes it easier for other people.
Yeah, it does.
Because people like to put people in boxes and like, you do this.
Yeah.
I do this.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel safe. But I'm like, no.
No, and especially for women, and I feel very lucky that I'm able to do both and sort of show other young girls that just do it, man. Like,
do it.
just
Get
do
out there
it.
and fucking do it.
Especially
babe.
like with the fandom that I've found through my music and acting are so wonderful. These amazing, primarily young women who are so strong and so cool. Like every time I see them doing anything or saying anything online, I'm just like a weeping mess. They're amazing.
Love that. One question from the group chat, babe. And already in this group chat, we have some like musical theatre royalty that I think you'll be really into.
Here we go.
Dame Elaine Page, babe.
Oh my goodness
God.
me.
Yes.
Elaine.
So we're not messing around alongside Adam Lambert, Theo James and more.
Oh my goodness.
But the question we're going to hit you with today, I like this. We're going to finish on a fault question.
Okay.
This is from Jimmy.
Jimmy,
Hi,
here we
Jimmy.
go. Hello.
Love, love, love the Fault franchise. Lots of loves there. What scene was the most challenging to shoot?
Oh, I mean, in some ways challenging and so much fun, but like the really emotional scenes, I do love them. Like, spoilers, but kind of towards the end of the film, after we go to the gala, there's a scene with me and Matt in Noah's dorm room that I just loved filming. It was exhausting, but just everything that little me would have loved to do, just standing in a room with cameras and an amazing actor opposite me, just like crying.
Just having a breakdown, babe.
Just having a breakdown. Like, I think that scene for me, I loved filming so much because they're both going through so many different things. And for Noah, it's so much, she barely says anything in the scene. It's so much about her face and everything behind the eyes. And I think that scene is a true testament to mine and Matt's kind of connection and relationship, in that he's doing all the work. Like, I can just watch Matt as Nick and feel Noah's emotions, I think. And that scene is definitely one of those. He's such a giving actor, and he's got such a amazing balance of like impulsivity as Nick that I think is such a key part of his character. And Matt playing Nick can't be Nick without being impulsive and making decisions in the moment or choices that just get to my like Noah heart immediately. And he's just speaking loads in that scene and kind of going through things and figuring things out vocally, whereas Noah's the complete opposite. She's like not speaking at all. And it was just a very fun scene to film in terms of our like acting journey. And for the second film, being able to kind of really delve into the characters. And it was one where I left and I was like, oh, that was so much.
So good. It was such a release.
Yeah, it's so good. Such a relief and so cool. I mean, a lot of the time you spend thinking like, can I do this? Like, what the hell? Am I going to be able to go in that room and cry and just give everything that Noah needs to give in that moment? And yeah, it was one where I left, and big high fives for both me and Matt. And I was like, you're amazing. Thank you.
Well, babe, you are great.
Thank you.
And this has been the greatest little chat.
The greatest chat.
The greatest chat.
Boy, I didn't stop chatting.
Thank you for popping in, babe.
Thanks for having me.
So great for having you here. Oh my God. I knew I was going to love Asha Banks before this interview, and I love her even more now. I'm sure you're going to agree. We saw a little bit of a different side of her today too, which was amazing to see. Thank you so much for joining me for this great chat. Make sure you subscribe or follow wherever you're watching or listening so you never miss a chat. We've got so many great guests coming your way. And also find us across socials at Josh Smith's Great Chat Show, where you can become part of our close friends on Instagram. So you will find out guests before anyone else. You can ask questions of our guests too. So you're not going to want to miss out. And I'll see you soon for another great chat.